I'm on him now. There goes Davis. Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. Finally throws, and it is gone. Touchdown! 85 yards. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown! Alabama wins.
Hello. Welcome back to Tailgate Talking. I'm your host, Gavin Meany, joined by my best friend and co-host, Alex Banks. Banks, what's up, brother? How we doing?
Doing good, man. We're doing good. Unfortunate week for my team, but it was a good week of football. So
I think unfortunate week for teams.
Okay,
Right.
Yeah.
Teams, bro. Rough week for the state of Michigan. Honestly, all around.
Couldn't sleep.
Yeah, Ben Johnson leaves and you guys can't score a touchdown.
Yeah, it was rough.
But that's the NFL, and what we do here is we talk about college football. So let's leave the Lions alone and let Ben Johnson try to figure out what the hell to do with that.
Okay.
Anyways, like I said, we like to talk about college football here, and it's week 3. Week 3 is here. We apologize for the lack of the posting in between week 1 and 2. Unfortunately, I had some family business that I had to take care of that prevented us from getting that done. But anyways, we're back now on our regularly scheduled episodes. Week 3 is here, and it's the beginning of conference play this week for a lot of teams, especially in the SEC. We got some great games coming up this weekend. And we're going to start it off where College Game Day is going. Good old Rocky Top. We got Georgia versus Tennessee. For both these teams, it's been, what it normally is the first 2-3 weeks of a season, kind of just middling opponents that just kind of it's like a preseason, for most of these Power 4 teams. So Georgia versus Tennessee is going to be the real first test for both of these teams. And right now, it seems that Tennessee has the better quarterback. So Joey Aguilar has definitely been outplaying Gunnar Stockton against what I would call seemingly similar competition. I mean, Syracuse looked like they were going to be a better ACC team, and then UConn took them into overtime last week. So I don't know how much stock we can really put in a good Syracuse team. But here's something that I thought was really interesting doing, the research for this is that Gunnar Stockton has only had 10 attempts that have been more than 10 yards downfield, which is especially weird considering who they brought in the transfer portal in Zachariah Branch, the USC transfer, who was just electric. Now he was definitely more utilized, where he was definitely able to show off his playmaking potential more in the return game last year. But still, with someone that is that athletic and that explosive, you would think that they'd be looking for him more down the field. I don't know, Banks. What do you put any stock into that, or what do you think about that?
Honestly, I think that they're going at a slow pace with Gunnar Stockton, and they're playing mid teams, not even mid, pretty bad teams compared to them. So I don't think they're trying to force anything. I think they're just trying to get him to the rhythm of the game. I mean, he's still at a 76 completion percentage.
Yeah.
Although he did not throw a touchdown against Austin Peay, which is pretty sad for a Georgia starting quarterback. But I think, completion percentage wise, he's not throwing any picks. Yeah. I think we got to see this weekend, and this is a good test for him.
Yeah. But Joey Aguilar, they're both starting quarterbacks, new starting quarterbacks this year, but Joey Aguilar has been doing it for a couple of years now. Especially, I remember watching him play against us when he was with App State, and he was a dog, man. He was a gamer for sure. But I think, we know what Joey Aguilar is, but I don't really think we know what Gunnar Stockton is yet. So I think this is his chance to kind of show us who he can be. And I like the great thing about Georgia is that they have Kirby Smart, and what
That'll help you.
yeah, I think great coaches are more important in college than they are than they are in the NFL. You know, um, and Kirby Smart is like one of the generational coaches. So it'll be interesting to see what their game plan is against the Tennessee defense that has been playing pretty well. Next up, we got LSU versus Florida, and boy, I can feel the heat from here on Billy Naper's ass, man, because dude, I don't want to say he lost this game for them, but Florida had the ball with just over 2 minutes left and threw it 3 times in a row. To me, that sounds like a losing recipe.
I think that just relates back to what you just said. It's very simple. Great coaches have great game plans and they make great decisions. You're a coach in college and you're gonna throw the ball instead of chewing the clock a little bit. Even if you go 3-and-out, make them use a timeout. But when you put your quarterback in that position, not to mention DJ Lagway, no, he's not new to this, but he ain't true to this, in the wise words of Dion. You feel me?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm skeptical of him a little bit when it comes to passing the ball, but your coach puts you in a bad position. I can't really blame him. I'm putting all the blame to Napier.
Well, also don't remember it doesn't all go on Napier because we had somehow, some way, we had another spitting incident, which is like, did you see that? Were you watching this game?
No,
Oh, you actually didn't see this then? Okay,
I turned it off. Yeah,
dude, it might have been a third down or something. I don't know what it was, but whatever it was, one of the defensive tackles for Florida spat right in front of the official, spat on one of the USF players. Right in front of the official, man. It was like clear as day. Gave him 15 yards, kept the drive going. And Florida also committed a pass interference. And USF was just able to march that ball down the field.
well, one thing, not to hinder on this too much, but your coaches teach you how to act. Okay, you never saw Nick Saban players spitting on people. Okay, you didn't see Jim Harbaugh players spitting on people. Okay,
Yeah,
at
no,
some
they
point,
just watched
coach
other
gotta
teams.
take.
They just cheated and watched other teams.
We didn't cheat, man. We didn't cheat. We just had advanced scouting.
We had ChatGPT out there, bro. What do you mean? And then I think for DJ Lagway, man, he needs a breakout game here. He has these moments. Like he had a breakout game last year. I forget who was against. It wasn't anybody like crazy. I remember he like where he threw for like 450, had like 5 tutties, and it wasn't anything crazy. And like that was a breakout game. But like we really haven't like heard him in the capacity that we thought we would. He was brought into this program as the savior, and like he threw for like 200 yards and a touchdown against USF. Which no, this isn't anything about USF, and a little bit more on them later. But you would think that he'd be able to give you a little bit more than that. They only put up 16 points. And then on the flip side, Garrett Nussmeier did not perform like you think someone of his caliber would perform against a team like Louisiana Tech. He only had about 200 yards and 1 touchdown as well as 1 interception against them last week. So he'll need to get back on track this week, but I don't think that's anything to worry about. But yeah, a little bit more in that game.
I still got faith in Garrett Nussmeier.
Yeah,
one game, you know what he brings to the table, so there's not much to blame him for. You just need better out of him. It's really that simple. He's got to prove it this weekend.
And he knows that too. So I think it'll be just more on that game later. Then we have another big game here for a team that's looking for another bounce back game. Although they won last week, it looked it didn't look pretty for a while there. We have Clemson going down to Atlanta playing Georgia Tech, and the one note I have here is that Clemson should be afraid, very afraid. So Haynes King, the quarterback of Georgia Tech, did not actually play last week. He was dealing with a lower body injury that he got when he played Colorado, so they decided to sit him against Gardner Webb, and their backup freshman quarterback threw for like 350 yards, which is pretty impressive for a Georgia Tech offense. The quarterback throwing 350 yards. I think for Clemson, you can't go down again. You can't be down 2 scores at half to this team. They hold the ball too long. They will grind out this game. They will possess the ball, and they won't give you enough chances to score. So Klubnik needs to step up, and they need to score early. They need to score often, and they need to do their best to keep the ball out of Georgia Tech's hands, because Georgia Tech is a team that doesn't give you the ball back when they get it. They take long, sustained drives.
Right. I mean, and we saw that last year against, I think, game of the year against Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they played Georgia. They played them slow, and they played the right way, controlling that clock, not giving your opponent enough time to come back, and really just suffocating them with the scoreboard and with the score. Or sorry, not the score, the play clock and the score.
Yeah. And this is a tough physical team, man. I think if Clemson is able to shut down the ability for King to run the ball, that makes their offense like a lot more one dimensional. Because they still do have a great running back in Justice Hayes, but I think if you are able to take out a part of that equation, that's a recipe for success against this team. So we'll see what they can do there. I'm going to skip this Vanderbilt versus South Carolina because I think you have a little bit more to say about that later.
I do. You're right.
So we're just going to move on to some non-conference games that we're going to be watching this week 1. And so I said we had a little bit more on this team later, and here we are. We got USF rolling into the 305 in Miami, and they're looking to keep it rolling against ranked opponents this week. Carson Beck, though, has looked great at Miami, which if you're a ball watcher, a ball knower, shouldn't be that much of a surprise to you. He looked really good against Notre Dame, taking what the defense was giving him, and then he lit up Bethune-Cookman, which it is what it is. But I want to focus more on USF here. Banks, do you think they have any shot at this game here?
See, USF, they beat 2 ranked opponents now, right? So they beat Boise,
and then they whooped up on Boise,
whooped them, and then beat Florida. But when you look back at those games, you don't see any dominant edge rusher. Let's remember that Boise State lost their best edge rusher, who now plays for Detroit, Ahmad Hassan.
Mm-hmm.
And Florida doesn't really have a dominant edge rusher. Their best edge rusher is their D lineman, who's leading their team in sacks, Tyreek Sapp. And that's not in the edge. But that makes me think that they're not ready for Miami. Okay? Miami's got Ruben Bain.
Yeah.
Decorated DN, okay? He's coming back off of an awesome year last year, right? And when you look at the team, you see 5 sacks on Byron Brown. And I don't like that. Going into Miami, a line that can't hold against 2 other teams that don't have prominent edge rushers, and now they have to face probably a top 5 in college football. So the answer to your question is no. I honestly don't think they have a chance. The only thing that could save them is this quarterback's feet. I mean, he's leading his team in rushing yards right now. And I don't think that's sustainable, but Haynes King is a thing, okay? And we see these dual threats put up more and better numbers as these years go on. We're seeing quarterbacks evolve, so I don't think they have a chance, but I mean, look, one thing is if they win this week, I can guarantee you they will be in the college football playoff. I mean, just take a look at USF's schedule. It's ridiculously easy after this. They play Charlotte, South Carolina State, North Texas. I think the hardest team left on their schedule would be Navy, and because they go to Navy. So I mean, this is the week to prove it. You beat Florida last week. Your defense played well. You dominated Boise State. Now's your real test. You're going to a top 5 team, and you're going away. It's just hard to really think that they can do it, but we've seen some shockers, so I won't be surprised.
We have, and I think maybe if this was the Miami team from last year, it would be a little bit different. I think USF would have a better shot at this game because, yeah, Miami was like great last year with Cam Ward, but we kind of always knew that at some point I guess like the magic would run out or they would stop getting lucky. Because don't forget that Miami had to have an early season comeback at Cal last year. And like an insane comeback. And this team looks like a more complete team. Like their defense looks really stout, especially with Ruben Bain on the edge. And so I guess like my next question is can USF like pull out any moral victories? Like maybe like yes, they're definitely an underdog here, and we'll get to that in the money lines, but if they're able to keep it close like through 3 quarters or the entire game and like lose by like 10 points, like do you think that that's like a moral victory for USF? Because like kind of why I'm bringing this up is because Boise State last year lost to Oregon by a touchdown week 1 and then they went on to be a college football playoff team, and mind you they had Ashton Genty who was doing ridiculous things. But I mean, like, would you consider that like a victory for them?
I would honestly if they go there and they show out for the first 3 quarters at least, and at max it's a 13-point loss. I don't see a problem with them making it as that 12 seed if they go on to win every single game and at least dominate most of them.
Yeah.
So I think I think there is a way to have a win-win out this game, but they have to play spectacular football. I mean, like you said, Miami just they look very complete, and I think getting a new quarterback in the transfer portal might have changed some things. I don't know. He's looking a little swaggy on the sidelines. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we got a rematch from last year. We have Texas A&M going up to South Bend and playing Notre Dame. And the one thing I'm watching for is when does Jeremiah Love start? Dude, was I crazy or was he just not in the game the first half against Miami week 1?
It didn't seem like it.
It really, right?
It really didn't seem like it, bro.
Because they really didn't start using him until the second half when they were playing from behind, and Notre Dame is not a team equipped to play from behind with the style of offense that they run. Now, mind you, like CJ Carr looked okay against Miami in his first collegiate start. They have receivers out there that can make plays, but I mean everybody knows that Jeremiah Love is the engine that makes that offense go.
Right.
So will he be getting it going early, and will Notre Dame be using him early? Which is something that I'm going to be looking for. And then on the other side, Marshall Reed, the quarterback for A&M, he looks good this year with regards to passing the ball. Like he looks like he's stepped it up in regards to being a passer, which is 98% of the quarterback position.
Right.
But man, this is a tough Notre Dame secondary. Like this, that's what Notre Dame prides himself on doing is being one of the best secondaries in the nation. So um, CJ Carr and Marcel Reed both have tough tests this week. CJ Carr more so in that it's his second collegiate game and he's playing another ranked opponent, and then Marcel Reed in that he's going up against a secondary that is locked down and will suffocate your passing game if you're not on when it counts.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. But one thing I think that's really important is the fact that Notre Dame is coming off of a bye week.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one main thing. So yes, this is a rematch last year, and I agree. Marcel Reed looks fantastic. I mean, he's thrown no picks this year. They put up 40 points each game against obviously terrible opponents, but that's very good for the quarterback, especially in his first year that he's truly starting.
All right, well, Banks, this is your time, bro. This is your time, man. Give the people what they want. Get some people some money here. Let's hear it, man.
Look, guys, we talked about it earlier. He said we'll wait. It's not a big surprise. We got Vandy going down to Columbia, South Carolina. Okay, and this is an interesting matchup, right? So you got Lenore Sellers, he's a new quarterback. He's trying to get a rhythm with this team, and he's not playing his best ball when we passing game wise. I mean, he's only got 60% completion percentage, and I can't say he's carrying the team because the defense is just so good, right? I mean,
Really good.
they still got Dylan Stewart off the edge, and I mean, he's already got 2 sacks this year, and he's got a lot of threats on the offensive side. Obviously, Nick Harper. I don't know if you guys saw that beautiful throw. I talk about his passing game, but that was a beautiful throw to Nick Harper last week. So I can't say too much about him. But Vandy's got some players too. Okay, we got senior quarterback Diego Pavia, and I think they got 2 tight ends that will be drafted in the next 2 years. That's what I'm looking for. Tight end. I mean, Vandy likes to use their tight ends a lot, and Eli Stowers, he's all you could ask for. He's a vertical threat and a blocker at the same time. Okay, now one thing is Pavia has an interception, but he also has 74% completion percentage, which is great in my opinion. A quarterback that can make decisive passes versus a quarterback that has to use his athletic ability. I'm gonna take the quarterback that's making the passes when I need him to make the passes. So that's why I think this game is very interesting. That's why I wanted to make it to take it to the bank. Okay, South Carolina's a 3.5 favorite. And I know I just said a lot of good about them. But boy, that Vandy team is coming for them,
They
okay?
look good, man. They
They're
looked really
coming
good
for
last
them.
week against Tech. They
They
looked really
did.
good.
They did.
Pavia looked like he was making like really good decisions. He was throwing the ball well. He was throwing the ball downfield too.
Right.
But you mentioned Dylan Stewart. Like is Dylan Stewart going to impact Pavia's ability to run the ball down or throw the ball down the field? I'm gonna say yes. You
Yeah.
know, but I'm sorry. I keep it going.
Oh no, I mean you said it yourself how good they looked last week. I mean, yes, they were down 20-10 at halftime, but 44-20 to end the game. Not a single point in that second half led up by that defense.
Yeah.
Okay? That is the key to this game. If they can suffocate Lenore Sellers and make that completion percentage even worse, they won't be able to get down the field. I mean, his leading reception for a receiver is Nick Harper with 3 receptions for 95 or something like that, 95 yards or so. That is not good. When your best receiving threat has 3 receptions over 2 games, that's not a good thing. So I think Vandy goes in here and they win this game. I'm taking the money line for Vandy,
Yeah.
especially because I got faith in Diego. Okay, we saw what he did last year. They blew everyone's mind. They took down the field goal post for crying out loud. So yeah, I got some faith in this team, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and just um, this Kyron Drones, we saw him against Lenore Sellers week 1, and he doesn't run the ball as well as Lenore Sellers. I think Lenore Sellers is probably the best rushing quarterback in college football right now. But Kyron Drones is somebody that utilizes his legs, and just looking at the stats, he was Virginia Tech's leading rusher last week against Vanderbilt with 36 yards on 13 carries. So this Vanderbilt rush defense is nothing to scoff at. Definitely a tougher test this week against the North Sellers, but man, I kind of like your take it to the bank. I kind of like it. You
So we like
convinced
to hear.
me. Yeah, you convinced me with week 1. And what was your week 1 ticket to the bank? Let me pull it up. Hold on. Do you remember
Week
it off the top of your
one.
head? Alabama 13.5 at Florida State, and
Yeah, that's right.
you had Bama winning, but Florida State covering. So you didn't really win, but if you had bet the Florida State covering the spread, you would have won.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I told.
You're taking to the bank. You're
Yeah,
taking to the bank.
it's a
Bang.
cover.
They
Yeah, it
cashed out.
did. Sure did.
So there we go. All right. So yeah, you're 1-0. Let's make it 2-0 this week. All right, we're gonna move on to the money lines now of the games we just talked about, and one more. But here we go. We got Clemson is a 3.5-point favorite at Georgia Tech. Man, dude, everything in my heart, mind, and soul is telling me to take Georgia Tech to cover the spread and money line. Clemson, like their offense doesn't look like we thought it would with Club Nick at the helm. And Georgia Tech looks like a team that can beat Clemson. So give me Georgia Tech.
Yeah. I think you're way over your head, man. Okay, I like this Clemson team. I do think last week was very scary, but what a coach and what we can take away from that game is that they will fight into the end. Being down that much at halftime and coming back and not, I don't believe they scored a single point right after that. It was they had
I
16.
don't think they did.
Yeah, I don't believe they scored a single point. I mean, kudos to the defense right there. I'm going to take Clemson here. I know they're going into Georgia Tech. I know Haynes King is a problem, but so is that Clemson defense.
Yeah, and in Clemson's defense, they had a couple turnovers like deep in their own territory that led to the Troy score. So yeah, I know I might be a little in deep here, but whatever. I said it. I'm gonna stick by it. All right, moving on. We got Georgia going to Rocky Top as a 4-point favorite against Tennessee. I think it's kind of the same thing that I just said about the Georgia Tech Clemson game. If you don't throw a touchdown against Austin P, which I believe is an FCS team,
Yeah.
what are you going to do against an SEC team on the road? So give me Tennessee money line.
I'm with you on that one. It's real simple. It's quarterback play here. That's what it comes down to in these Power 4 college matchups. Joey Aguilar's playing better. Gunnar Stockton, he looks questionable.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take Tennessee covering this.
Yeah. All right. And Banks, I'm gonna give you the lead on this one. USF is a 17.5-point underdog at Hard Rock Stadium.
17 and a half. Yeah, give me the cover on that. USF, they've been playing well. No, I don't believe they can beat Miami, but I believe they can put up a fight. The one key to this game is not letting Miami start off hot. If they go into Miami and they let Carson Beck put up 14 plus in the first quarter, they've already lost the game. No matter if they have 10 points, if they have 14, unless they're winning, if Carson Beck starts off hot, he ain't gonna get cold.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you there. But yeah, I think USF is playing really good football right now. So give me USF to cover that spread. 17.5 to me is just like a little too much. Next up, we got a game we didn't talk about, but we're going to talk about a little bit here. I just thought it was interesting because it's an SEC conference game. We got Arkansas going down to the SIP playing Ole Miss, and they are 6.5 point underdog. I think Ole Miss is playing well with a new quarterback after Jackson Dart. I was watching them against Kentucky last week. So give me Ole Miss to cover that.
I'm not with you there. I am not with you there. Have you heard of Taylon Green?
I've heard of Taylor
Taylon
Green.
Green. Okay,
I've heard of Taylor Green.
that boy gets busy when it comes to open field. I mean, we're talking about 190 rushing yards in the first 2 weeks for a quarterback. He's almost the leading rusher, and that's what makes that even scarier. So not only does your quarterback have 190, but your running back does. Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna take Arkansas to cover this. I think it'll be a close game no matter what, but I think Ole Miss got some trouble headed their way.
Okay. All right. All right. Next, we got Florida as a 7 point underdog in Death Valley, Baton Rouge, going to LSU. Dude, there is nothing that I've seen from Florida that can convince me that they're going to hang with LSU this week. There's nothing I've seen. And like I saw LSU play a great defensive game against Clemson week 1. Like their defense, I think, is going to be legit this year, which was their problem last year. Their defense couldn't hold a lead. So yeah, give me LSU to cover that.
I do think that one's pretty simple. I think we got to see DJ Lagway play better football here. That's what I think, and I don't think it's going to be this game. And Baton Rouge, number 3 LSU. I'm not buying it. Yeah, let me see LSU. LSU's going to cover that.
All right. And then last but definitely not least, we got Texas A&M going to South Bend, playing Notre Dame as a 6.5 point underdog. I think because of Marcel Reed's first 2 games, like he's gotten comfortable now with that offense, and they've like it was their preseason. So give me Texas A&M to cover that. I think Notre Dame pulls this out with like a field goal here. So yeah, give me Texas A&M covering at 6.5.
I can understand why you're saying that, but Jeremiah Love.
Jeremiah Love.
Jeremiah Love. It's that
Jeremiah
simple. And
Love.
I think Jeremiah Love he was waiting. He was waiting for the right moment to have a special game. And this is that moment. This is that moment for Jeremiah. Show everybody why you were a Heisman candidate to start the season. Show them why you're the best running back in this class. Give me Notre Dame to cover this spread. I do still think it will be a semi-close game for most of it. But I think Notre Dame, I think they're ready to play some real football here.
Yeah. Just real. I'm looking at my FEI ratings. I was big on that last year, the Fieldman Efficiency Index, and Notre Dame is the 3rd most efficient defense right now in the league. So yeah, but their offense though is where they struggle. It's not bad. It's 14. But yeah, all right. So that kind of does it for us for our week 3 preview. The thing is, guys, it's still very early on in the season. Like there's still a lot that we're kind of waiting to see develop and happen. And these are teams that are like really starting to get some of their first tests this year with Georgia and who else here is getting a test? Well, actually, kind of everybody's already really been tested. LSU has, Notre Dame, Miami, Clemson. So it'll be interesting to see how these storylines develop. Past week 3 as we get more into conference play. But that kind of does it for us here, guys. Thanks for listening, and we will see you guys next week with the week 3 recap. Peace.